Good morning, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Hands of Anna Walker, coming to you from the studio of StabThingsIntoExistence.com. Welcome. It is Tell Me Tuesday, and I often say when I am teaching felting classes how to lift up items like the sunflowers on the Peace Flag project from the background so that they are more pronounced, so that they show more. And the key is a 45-degree angle. Now, we all know that a circle, this is a rough estimate of a circle is 360 degrees. You go to the other side, so if you went from north to south, that would be 180 degrees. If you went from north to east, that would be 90 degrees, or like this, okay? Half of that is your 45-degree angle. Now that 45-degree angle is what I use to come in right along the side of an area that I want to lift up from the background. I'm going to see if I can get this a little lower so you can see my hands really close and still keep my hands in the frame. So what I do, this is one of the sunflowers from yesterday, and you saw that I made these just sort of random lines to sort of represent petals with my needle felting machine. And it's been wet felted after that. We added a little bit more blue. I added a little more blue to the sky, but now I really want these sunflowers to pop, and that's where the 45-degree angle comes in. So along the outer portion of those lines, I'm not going to get lost in the center, but from about midpoint out to the end, I am going to go right along those lines with either a single needle and just stab at that 45-degree angle. Now, notice how I'm holding my hand. My hand is giving me, with my fingers, almost a perfect 45-degree angle. And I can just take and stab right along that midline to the end, to the tip of each petal, to get that that lifting action happening. Now you can do this with a single needle. I often do it with a single needle, but you can also take a pen tool. I've got my Clover multiple needle holder. Now this can hold 3 needles, and I've taken 1 needle out of it. I'm just using 2 needles. And with the same action, I'm just making sure that my needles are both at that 45-degree angle. I can take and I can work that just a little faster to bring that relief up so that those petals start looking like they have life to them. Because it's wonderful to make a picture of something, but it's even more fun to make that picture seem like it's got life and movement and texture, even more texture than you get with the felting. So you can see that using the multiple needle tool with 2 needles in it helps me achieve this lifting a whole lot quicker. And I'm just going to continue to go around each of the sunflowers. You can see it's already making a huge difference just in those few that I have stabbed alongside. I'm going to turn this around because we've got the perfect angle for you to see everything. And I just want to come in and work some of these. Now, the other thing that I'll do, I will either choose to lift on one side or I'll choose to lift on both sides. For the sunflowers, I'm going to choose to lift on one side, which means, and I always need to know, sort of like adding a shadow to a drawing or a painting, you figure out where the light's coming from, and then you work the shadow in the areas where the light's not at. And that just helps us bring dimension, an even greater amount of dimension, into our piece without having to do anything other than stab at a 45-degree angle. And the only stabbing I'm doing is on this, I'm calling it the right side because it's on the side that my hand is on, and that's just what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the right side. Not the wrong side, just the right side. And you can see that when you're stabbing, the fibers indeed do move in the direction that you're stabbing to either bring you relief or to move fibers around so that you can get to a different area. And it's just coming in at that 45-degree angle, allowing your hand to help you, because having my hand here in this position, I've got, like I said, almost that perfect 45-degree angle going there. And it just makes it possible for us to bring a little bit more dimension, a little bit more texture. And I do like using the multiple needle tool. This clover pen tool is lovely, whether you're using it with 1 needle, 2 needles, or 3 needles. But it enables you to get in there and make some very definite dimensional differences in your felting. And so let's continue around, and you can see this sunflower just sort of pop into life. Make sure my needles are lined up. And again, I'm just coming in from about the midpoint of the petals to the tip to get that dimension in place. Now, these sunflowers are also going to have some stitching that will help further define them, but without doing this 45-degree angle work here, the stitching would be sort of flat on flat. Now, when I add stitching, I can utilize these valleys that I've created to bring in some more depth and some more dimension into the sunflower. I mean, look at this half where we've worked the 45-degree angle just on one side of the petals as compared to the other side where we've just got the faint amount of ridges left from the needle felting machine. And it just amazes me, even after 14 years of doing this, just how little effort it takes to make a huge impact in a felted painting. And I'm not worried about getting every single petal outlined. That would be too, hyper-focused. It's about the feel. It's not about the representation. It's about how it feels, how it looks. Making sure that you guys can see. Let's move that there. There we go. Got a little dark fiber there. There we go. This painting will get a shave at some point in time because especially in the sky I can see the undyed the undyed pre-felt starting to come through. So I will shave off some of those natural fibers that look white when they're on a colored background. I'll shave those off before I add stitching. And the centers of my sunflowers are going to be French knots to give that textural aspect, make it look like we've got sunflower seeds. Always making sure that my needles are facing the direction I need them to face. There's another dark one. And notice I am still, for the most part, keeping my wrist very straight. Now I can come in here and just work straight down if I want to further delineate those lines, and that'll help sort of reinforce this additional needle felting that I'm doing to bring in some depth and some dimension. But again, I'm making sure that those needles are facing parallel to the lines where I am stabbing, so that it reinforces an area that's already been felted in the 45-degree angle, and now I'm felting it at a 90-degree angle. And what do I always say? The more directions you can come at a project with your needle, the stronger the fiber is going to be. And so this is just another direction I'm going into the fiber. Now, these lower bits of petals here are not as defined as the upper ones are here. So I get to make some creative decisions, and I can see that I've got kind of a line going here, and I think instead of 45 degrees, I'm going to come in and just work this valley that naturally set up during the wet felting. Because sometimes the fibers, I mean, they are your collaborators after all, and they collaborate in a way that you don't anticipate. And so rather than fight those collaborations, I like to work with those collaborations. And again, we're coming in at our 45-degree angle. And if you've ever seen sunflowers, you know that they are a riot of multiple layers of petals. Some of them thin, some of them thick, all of them with attitude. And I like to let that attitude shine when it comes to working petals into a felted painting like I'm doing with these. Okay, we are almost done with delineating the last of our petals. We've got just this small area here. Make sure my needles are at the right angle, and let's define these last petals. Did you see that little curve that came in there? I'm just going with that curve, and I'm working that 45-degree angle all the way around that curve. We've got another curve right here. Let's just go 90 degrees. Bring in some more angles here to the felting. Make it a stronger felt so that it'll hold that texture that we've just put in with our 45-degree angles. Now you can work this as much or as little as you want, but again, the needle felting, this extra little bit of texture is just my next stage when I'm working on felt paintings. And even though this is one large piece right now, before the end of the day, it's going to be cut down into 5 smaller piece flags, and then I'll work on them individually until I'm finished with them. A nice little line there I want to enforce. All right, so we've gone all the way around this particular sunflower. I'm going to raise this up so that we can see two of them at once. So here is all right, here's a sunflower that has not had that definition put in, and here is the one that I just put that definition in, and it's a huge difference. This almost has just the normal you know, sort of crocodile skin feel to it. It doesn't really have anything to define those petals. But with this sunflower, we are already seeing these individual petals just lift away from the back of the painting, and that is the beauty of using that 45-degree angle. Whether you're using it with a single needle or whether you're using it with a multiple needle tool and using 2 needles, it doesn't matter. That 45-degree angle makes such a huge difference texturally and lifts that item right off the back of your painting for you. So Tell Me Tuesday has been all about the 45-degree angle. I want you to practice with it. Take a piece of felt that you've got. Just make a random, do your initial on a, you know, a small piece of wool felt, or for that matter, on any kind of fabric. But I think it's helpful to do this, to practice this on a piece of wool felt, because you can see the textural difference. And then what I want you to do is just needle felt your initial onto that piece of felt. Once you've got it needle felted flat, then I want you to come in with that 45-degree angle and go all the way around your initial and just see how it lifts that initial up and gives you texture. Go practice with it, and then excuse me, and then post here your picture from when you practiced it. I can't wait to see you practice and try and fall in love with a 45-degree angle just like I have. So tomorrow is What to Felt Wednesday. We'll be coming back to this project with what we're doing in the next stage, and I can't wait to see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.